What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dear Lacrosse Pod. I am your host, Angie Benson. I just been having so much fun doing this. I know I keep saying this every single episode, but it's been a good time. All the feedback, all the conversations, all the suggestions. It's been just an awesome ride. So I'm just thankful for all the people that actually watch every single episode. If you can do me a favor and please hit the subscribe button, that would be super cool. That would be super cool. How can you help this podcast? I don't really ask for much. Just freaking watch it and buy some gear. Watch and buy gear. That's it. Rock the Dear Lacrosse Pod or AMB or Dear Lacrosse or whatever. I don't really care. But if you buy gear, you help me keep doing what I'm doing. And if you like the things that are coming out of my mouth, please let me know. What's new in my life? I'm in prep, which is pretty annoying, and for those of you that don't know what prep means, I have a meal plan / diet and workout program for my bodybuilding competition. I have been a spot or two away from my pro card a few times, and honestly, I started bodybuilding because lacrosse kicked me out and took my playing privileges, so I started bodybuilding, and I got pretty competitive in it pretty fast, not gonna lie, and I've been spots away from this pro card, so my next show is the Arnold Amateur, and hopefully I get my pro card there. So being in prep, I just finished a show in October, and I did a show in December, so now my next show is at the end of February. But with those shows, I like to do clinics, so if you're in Columbus, Ohio, I will probably be hosting a clinic. Okay. Let's get into it. This podcast, I want to start having segments, these segments, kind of like delayed lax news, I think is a great segment for this podcast. One, because I'm not really on top of the news right away, and I think there's other people that do that and do a great job for that. But I think delayed lax news, I want to kind of see the cookie crumble, see what's going down, and then I want to kind of bring it back up to life. I myself have been a transfer portal girly, and I support the transfer portal. I think the transfer portal really shakes things up in sports across the board through every single sport, not just lacrosse. I don't think lacrosse can handle the dogginess of transfers, poaching, recruiting, all that stuff other sports. Some people have agents and stuff. Yeah, there's recruiting agents for lacrosse, but it's not football or basketball, or soccer even. But transfers, I always wonder, I love watching a good transfer story, a great transfer story. I would say the ultimate one right now for women's lacrosse is Charlotte North, right? Went from Duke to Boston College, literally transferred, flourished. Not saying people who transfer have bad ties with their previous school, but I always find it interesting or just cool to follow when you have a player that leaves a program and absolutely just dominates at another program. Is it the environment the player's in, does that make them flourish? Is it the role the coach has them play on the team? Does that also hurt or help? How do we get the best out of each player? Is the coach not recruiting the correct personnel for their culture or team? Is it the player that just didn't really get along and didn't know what they were signing up for? Why? I just want to know why. They perform at the next school they go to. You just automatically look back at the previous school and you're like, what happened? Why couldn't they do it there? So I feel transfers in lacrosse are being way more utilized since COVID and whatnot, and the 5th years and stuff. And now that we have JUCO, changing that rule, you can play JUCO and then still get your NCAA eligibility of 4 years. And I read another article that they might do 5 years of NCAA eligibility. Transfer portal really does shake up the game for just basic recruiting. Why wouldn't a coach want to bring in an experienced player? Why wouldn't the coach want to bring in a player where they know that they can produce or not produce. Now, I'm not saying like you jump into the transfer portal and you're automatically like getting transferred into another school. Like, no, you actually have to be freaking good. Like, basketball is flooded with transfers, and not everybody, like, it's a scary place to enter the transfer portal. Like, you don't even know if you're going to get out of the transfer portal. With lacrosse in the transfer portal, I don't know if we utilize it as much as other sports, or as much as we would like to, or as much as we could utilize it. This might be a really hot take and people might completely disagree with me, but I've just been a transfer girly, and there's environments I flourished better. You can tell by the stats. Speaking of transfers, Delaney Swicer transferring to Northwestern from Syracuse. Yo, legit move, power play. Like, why wouldn't she? She has a better chance of getting a ring at Northwestern, to be honest. And they are known for transferring goalies. Like, look at their record of goalie transfers, and they kind of ball out. So, like, what a move. What a move by her. Super support that. I normally don't watch lacrosse that much now because it just pissed me off for a little bit, but then I started watching lacrosse a lot when I got to get into my coaching realm, and this dynamic on Northwestern is a team I'm interested in really seeing excel. What are they going to do with players who've graduated? How are they replenishing? Positive support for that team. Syracuse, delayed lax news. Let's just get into that. But, like, all these Syracuse recruits, like, decommitted and went to, like, Clemson or elsewhere. So, not only did you have all these recruits decommit from Syracuse, now you got your goalie that's balling out, just transferred to Northwestern. Like, what's going on in Juice Cuse town? I'm not sure. Maybe I am sure, but I'm not sure. North Carolina. Do they get enough transfers to recoup this whole entire team? So for the 2025 D1 women's rankings based off Inside Lacrosse, North Carolina is ranked number one. Back together, Ashley and Chloe Humphrey will share the field for the first time and will be in Carolina blue. Nicole graduated from Carolina 23, making a stop at USC for 24 before deciding to head back to Chapel Hill for one final go. I don't really know who you are, chick, but that's a story. That's a story. Ashley finished her degree from Stanford in the winter of 23, transferring to North Carolina mid-year, where she quickly found her role, leading the team in assist. Humphrey entered 24 season, number one recruit in the class. UNC also added Virginia Tech. Go Hokies! Go Hokies! Sarah and Olivia. You know what? That's a snag. I'm not even really being biased, but, like, that's a snag. And again, I think these, not to throw shade on my own people, but, like, they might flourish. They might flourish here. And it's not that they didn't flourish at Virginia Tech, but I am interested to see what they can do at UNC. I don't know why we keep giving UNC so many, like, we give them their flowers so much. What, they won, like, 2, maybe 3 national champions. It's, like, not as much as Maryland and, like, not as much as Northwestern, like, you know. And, like, they didn't do that well, like, at all. Like, not at all the past season. So, I hope they're number one in the transfer portal. That just makes complete sense. And then Northwestern is just really just filling in some of the gaps that they had. You know, the class that should be number one in the transfer portal right now should really be Virginia Tech and Syracuse, because they just have a stupid amount of transfers in the portal. So,